Hi, I'm Amanda Lee from Sugar Cakes and welcome to Cake TV, brought to you by Renshaw. In this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to make this edible Christmas tree pinata cake. That's right, this cake is filled with delicious candy. I'm going to show you how to make the cone structure using rainbow dust color melts, as well as how to make all of these beautiful leaves and decorations and build up this gorgeous Christmas tree using Renshaw Extra Fondant. It's going to be a great one, so let's get to it. Alright, so the first thing that we need to do is build our cone structure, for which we're going to build the entire Christmas cake on. So to do that, I've got here a cardboard, and it doesn't really matter that it's white or not, but you just want something that's relatively stiff, and I've cut out a large circle. This one's approximately 16 inches in diameter. Basically, you could just get a tray or a platter or a really big cake tin, anything round, and just draw a really big circle at this approximate diameter. So I've just marked out the center and I've cut it out, and I've done the same here with some baking parchment. Now obviously not a lot of baking papers come this wide, so what I've done is I've actually stuck two pieces together and I've just put a tape right in the middle. So I've had a big piece of baking parchment then, and I've just cut out the exact same diameter size of circle, and I've marked out the center as well. So now that I've got my circle, we're just going to cut this down and we're going to build our cardboard cone. So I'm just going to start here with my ruler. I'm going to cut away approximately a quarter. So this is just a guide. I may cut off more, we'll see. So I'm just starting with my circle. Now I'm going to cut away a quarter of it. Don't need that anymore. And we're just going to try and start forming this cone shape. So we obviously want a Christmas tree, so we want something that's not too wide. No, it's going to be a very stout Christmas tree. Just want to keep twisting and twisting until you get something that you're quite happy with. So I'm just bearing in mind as well that the leaves are going to add some extra width. So I'm probably going to go a little bit narrower. So I'm going to go in with some tape now, just to secure this. I'm just using regular masking tape. You don't want this unraveling on you, so make sure you secure it properly. That is our cone structure, for which we're going to build our cake on, and after this we're going to take this out obviously. So now that we've got this standing up here, we're actually going to move on to this baking parchment, and we're going to take a quarter off as well. It's just an approximate. In fact, I'll probably take off a little bit more because we won't need that much of this one. So I'm taking off about a third of this circle, and we don't need this anymore. So we're probably going to need some more tape. This is going to be the place where the chocolate's placed on. So we're just going to roll up a couple of pieces of tape. Alrighty, so we've got our cardboard structure. We're going to place our baking paper on, just to make this the place where our chocolate's going to sit on. It'll all make sense after this. So we're just going to start with some tape, just a piece of tape on the inside, just like so. And because this is non-stick baking paper, it's not going to want to stick. So we'll just have to apply some extra tape there. It's very hard to get stuff to stick on non-stick baking paper. Alright, so that's done. We're going to start wrapping now. Wrap, wrappy wrap. It's not too tight, but it's a good snug fit. And so holding that there, I'm just going to place some bits of tape. Just give it a firm press. We're going to try and get this paper to stick. It doesn't have to be super tight, but it just has to stay, that's all. So this next part, we're actually going to start applying our colour melt onto our cone structure. So I've melted down rainbow dust colour melt in white. This comes in a huge range of colours. And I love this product because it works so similarly to chocolate, but the best thing is that you don't have to temper it, and it melts down to a really glossy, smooth, stable consistency. So I've got that melted down here in the microwave. And I'm just going to start applying this onto the cone structure that we built before. So It's a bit of a messy job, but it's a lot of fun. So we're just going to start applying chocolate everywhere. Now our goal is not to get this crazy smooth. Our goal is to get this covered. So the whole thing's going to be edible. The cardboard and the baking paper is purely just for structure to help us build this up. So I'm just going to keep doing this, going all the way around, making sure that I've got an even coat of my colour melts all over this cone. I'm going to pop it in the fridge to set, and once it's firm I'm going to take it out again and do a second coat. You want to make sure that it's not going to stick onto whatever surface you place it on. So having that baking paper on the tray is very handy for later, and the tray makes this really easy to turn and move around in and out of the fridge. So what we're going to do is we want to scrape off some of the excess off the bottom. So if some of the colour melts have fallen down, we just want to scrape that excess away. If not, there's going to be a lot of build up later on. And so that's looking really good. So I'm going to pop this in the fridge to set for approximately 30 minutes, and then we're going to come back and do our second coat. Now we're going to get right into making the many leaves that we'll need to cover our Christmas tree. I'm using Renshaw Ready to Roll Icing Extra in green, and this fondant is really spectacular. It's made for the vast Australian climate, so whether you're somewhere really humid or somewhere really cool, it's going to work awesome for you. So I've got a green fondant here, and once it comes out of the packet you just want to give it a knead. And I'm going to add some tieless powder. I'm using rainbow dust Tylo powder, and the reason why I add this to my fondants is because I want my leaves to have structure and hold. So once you add that in, you just want to knead it all together. You want to make sure that you've got it all in there. So I've got my fondant kneaded out, all the Tylo powder has been mixed through perfectly, and now it's time to roll this out. So I'm just using a regular old rolling pin here, and I want to use some corn flour, just dusting my bench, just so my fondant doesn't stick to the bench. And as you can tell, I'm being quite careful not to get corn flour on the top part of my fondant. I don't really mind what happens underneath. That's because I don't want there to be a thick dusting of corn flour affecting the tone of my green on top. So I want to roll this down till it's about 3 millimeters thick. If you're not too sure what 3 millimeters looks like, you can always whip out your ruler and make sure you've got it spot on, because we definitely don't want these leaves to be too thick. If not, it's going to add too much weight to our cone structure. So just make sure that's all even all the way around. Now we can start cutting this out. I'm using a petal cutter to cut out my leaves. So it's really simple. Just cut it out, press the impression on the inside, and it just clicks right out. And to set this, I want to form a little cup to the leaves. So I don't want it to be flat like that. So I've actually cut one of those kitchen towel rolls, the center of them, in half, and I'm going to use this to form my leaves. So there you go, it's set in a cup shape. So I'm going to keep on doing this and cut out all of my leaves, setting them in this cup shape, and we're going to need a lot of leaves. So you want to have a whole bunch of leaves ready to go, and we're going to pull our cone out of the fridge and start building this centerpiece. So this has just come out of the fridge. It's had 2 coats of colour melts, and we are going to very carefully remove the cardboard and remove the baking paper that's on the inside. So this should be beautifully firm and set now, and we should be able to quite fairly easily pull out the card from the center, and that should all just come out. So you don't have to worry about ripping that paper anymore. So we don't need that anymore. You can see it's beautiful and hollow. All of our paper and baking paper has been removed, and we've got a really strong cone structure that's fully edible, and we can start building the leaves and all the decorations to create our pinata.